Hey, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to For Strategy Gaming. It is time, yes, it is time once again for some more StarCraft 2 commentary. It is the 1st of November. Remember, the 5th of November? I don't remember. I'll just say 1st anyways. That's enough about that. Let's take a look at some StarCraft 2 commentary. We'll be watching a series today between DIMAGA and Grubby. I seem to cast a lot of games between these two players. I'm really happy to get replays from both of them because you know what? I like them. They may not be winning all of the tournaments out there, but they're very strong players. They're professional players, and I think that they make for very interesting and fun to watch games. I love Grubby. I loved watching him in Warcraft 3, and I think that he's certainly evolving as a StarCraft 2 player. And DIMAGA, I think, is becoming stronger and stronger as a Zerg player as well. So, huge fan of both these players, and really excited to see how these games end up playing out. You can see actually Grubby immediately scouting that cross-positional location, and he'll be spotting DIMAGA very, very soon. Take a look at this, moving right on into DIMAGA's base. We are here, of course, on Shattered Temple. I forgot to introduce the players and the map itself. Yes, Shattered Temple is the map. 12 o'clock position here is DIMAGA, our red Zerg player, and down here in the 6 o'clock, we've got Grubby as the green Protoss player, and it looks like Grubby will be starting out on one base, going for that wall off in the Pylon Gateway and Cybernetics Core, and interested to see that he did decide to make the Pylon part of that wall off. A lot of times you'll just see the pylon back here and then the gateway and the cyber core used solely for the wall off. Grubby deciding to just construct that a little bit differently. Now, of course, we can see Grubby scouting DIMAGA's main base. It does appear like DIMAGA deciding to start off on one base play, probably largely due to the fact that he was scouted out by Grubby. In spotting him so early, it makes it very difficult for DIMAGA to actually land that expansion. Just the probe even dancing around, plus the possibility of dropping a pylon. And also there is the chance that we may have seen Grubby go for a Forge Fast expand, and were that the case, then DIMAGA would have had to worry about dealing with cannon harass at that natural expansion. So there you go, just as mentioned, there is the pylon delaying DIMAGA and preventing him from dropping down that expo. So it is not going to be until these first 4 Zerglings actually pop that DIMAGA will be able to get that up. And actually, look at that. Grubby decided to cancel it and then just pull back. Now, you may ask why. Well, it's pretty simple, because if you let that pylon go through, it's a guaranteed loss. It's a guaranteed loss, not lost. Lost is a good show, but that's about it. It's a guaranteed loss, so essentially that means he would lose 100 minerals and just delay this expansion a little bit longer. Now, instead, canceling that off, you only lose 25 minerals as you recoup 75 of that, so only losing 25% of what you initially started building it with. And then, again, you get those resources back. That's obviously a big advantage, especially when it's a guaranteed loss anyways. We can see Warp Gate Research getting Chrono Boosted out on through. We have that first Stalker making its way on through as well. Right now, DIMAGA finally scouting out Grubby's location, not able to push on up, obviously, because that wall off is there, plus the Zealot. Still no transition yet for Grubby, just sticking to that one gateway. He may be going one gate expand, or we may see an additional 2 gateways and a Robo, or a Robo first here from Grubby. All those things are possibilities. He may even open up Stargate play, although that is not quite as prevalent as some sort of a Robo or just a 1-gate expand, or even a 3-gate expand. That's something else we may consider. It does appear like a second gateway has just come up for Grubby, and a third one as well. So probably going to be seeing a 3-gate expand here from Grubby. That is what I am going to assume. Now back over here for DIMAGA. Looks like he will just be droning up at the moment, just sitting with a few... oh, look at that Zealot! We've got a Zergling trying to chase down the probe. Zealot's trying to take out the Zergling. And unfortunately, that probe does manage to get away. We've got a Zergling over here, though. He's going to be able to catch up to him. Oh my gosh, what is he doing? DIMAGA, you missed the probe. How silly of you. And actually, we will be seeing a proxy pylon get placed down here by Grubby, allowing him to warp in units later down the road. That's even something that's very effective late game. Once the Zerg player moves into his 5th and 6th expansion, having a pylon on this side of the map, on this map in particular, it's going to be very helpful for you. It does look like, yes, a 3-gate expand is what we will be seeing, and with that, of course, you go sentry heavy. Sentries allow you to defend yourself much easier without any photon cannons early on against any sort of early aggression you may be seeing. And right as I mentioned that, look at all of these Zerglings streaming across the map. DIMAGA having 12 Zerglings right now, so let's get that metabolic boost coming on through. Those Zerglings right now, these numbers are going to give map control to DIMAGA. Zergling did manage to scout out the worker, and And actually, did he kill it? No, is the worker still alive? There he is. So actually didn't scout out the worker, but did scout out the pylon. I just assumed that the Zergling had grabbed that probe, but unfortunately for him, he did not. Here's that expansion again, as expected. After this, we are going to expect a robotics to come down, pretty much necessary for Grubby. He wants to get out that observer. We've got a little bit of engagement going down there. Very nice force field trap there by Grubby. Absolutely beautiful. That was an excellent play. Grubby sitting in a temporary supply block due to losing that proxy pylon that he had located over here. We've got a probe scout that didn't move in. I'm not sure if he actually managed to move into the main and get some scouting. It doesn't look like he did, in fact. Just dropped this pylon. But as we can see here, Grubby planning some aggression right now. Once more, he is still just on these 3 gateways. He has come out with that forge. He's delaying that robotics in preference for coming out with this aggression right now early on. He's going to try to force DIMAGA to make some more Zerglings, and as you can see, that is exactly what's happening. He's attempting to delay the tech, force the production of more Zerglings, and then we should see him push in. That, or he could actually just retreat. Now, he wouldn't end up losing much of anything, but DIMAGA would be taking the loss in those larvae. But actually, no, look at that. Playing very smart right now. You can see he is, in fact, droning up. He's got 6 drones coming out. He made just enough Zerglings, essentially, DIMAGA, to be able to defend himself against this push when and if it comes in. As we can see here, DIMAGA with that creep spread has full vision of what's coming from Grubby. There's the force field, and this is a problem right now. This Sentry Heavy, it's going to make it so that he could force field any reinforcements for DIMAGA inside of his main. We actually have a spine crawl over here that's going to allow him to take out this proxy pylon, and it does look like Grubby is deciding to retreat for the moment. Now, pay very close attention to that production tab. We have got hallucination research coming on through. Also coming out with some cannon defense. This is a very interesting kind of after that initial 3-gate transition that we are seeing here from Grubby. Just deciding to come out with some photon cannon defense. Again, not working his way up to robotics, which is pretty much the standard. Usually you see a 3-gate expansion gets dropped, and then you see a robo go down. Or, of course, there's other opportunities. He could be going for like a level 1 weapons push or level 1 weapons and armor push. But it's almost always the robo. Instead, though, instead of getting that observer deciding, of course, to get that hallucination research, this allows him to come out with these phoenixes, and this is a perfectly effective alternative way to scout out the opponent. Obviously much quicker as well as the observer. All you lose is energy from these phoenixes. It's really not a big deal, just energy from those sentries, and he's going to be able to consistently keep constant eyes on what DIMAGA is doing as long as he keeps making more and more hallucinated phoenixes. So very nice there. Very, very cool by Grubby. And again, it's a great way to scout out your opponent. It certainly is quite effective indeed. We get to right now, we do have DIMAGA preparing to work his way up into that high yield expansion at the same time. These rocks getting destroyed here by Grubby as Grubby prepares to move into his 3rd. Some more hallucinated phoenixes going out right now for some scouting information at the same time. We have got some Stargates coming out as well as the level 1 air weapons upgrade for Grubby. So Grubby making a transition into some air units, phoenixes and void rays, what I expect to come out here from Grubby. And here comes that scouting again. He can see everything. Evolution chamber coming on in. There's a Spire in play. We've got 10 Mutalisks coming out right away, and so hopefully he's going to be prepared for that. Now again, I'm assuming that this is going to be for phoenixes, and there it is. Pretty much directly counteracting with proper micro anything that those Mutalisks can do, and except for the point that those Mutas get into very large numbers. Once the Muta numbers get very, very hefty, then those Phoenixes are not nearly as effective, which is actually why we're seeing the Tempest added to the Protoss arsenal come the expansion in the Heart of the Swarm. Macro hatch over here, I saw that earlier, just didn't make mention of it. Again, we have got a 3rd and 4th expansion coming up right now for DIMAGA, so DIMAGA really getting prepared to macro up very, very hard right now. He's also got Corruptors coming into play. Very interesting. That's going to help him deal with these Phoenixes. Still constant hallucinated Phoenixes. Proxy pylon over here, very nice indeed. Actually one situated over here as well. 3rd expansion is coming on through. We've got some Spielings in the center of the map, and when are these real Phoenixes going to come into play? Looks like Grubby will be waiting until he gets those numbers up a little bit larger. In fact, those Mutalisks haven't even come into play yet either. Now the problem is those Phoenixes are going to have a terrible time in dealing with those Corruptors. So if we see DIMAGA push out with the Corruptors and the Mutalisks together, then that could actually work in his favor to counteract any damage that these Phoenixes could effectively do. Spielin trying to break down these back rocks. We do have the Stalkers preventing them from doing that. The 3rd expansion is now up, so he will be working to get that saturated right now. Here come the real Phoenixes, no longer hallucinated, making their way across the map. We've got the air arsenal over here for DIMAGA. He's coming out with more and more Corruptors, droning up very hard as he works to saturate his 3rd and 4th. And finally right now, Grubby presenting the real Phoenixes, and obviously the fact that they're using that Graviton Beam and actually dealing damage tips DIMAGA off to the fact that, yes, these are no longer hallucinated. We got some hallucinated ones in the mix, but there are the real ones going to town, and again, taking advantage of their great speed, just kind of dancing around those mutas and corruptors. They are so much faster, and unfortunately, mutas and corruptors aren't really able to catch up. Now, Grubby, pretty low on energy on these Phoenixes, deciding to head on back, realizing that his harass no longer is going to be that effective. We have a Twilight Council coming out right now for Grubby. At the same time, Infestation Pit and Roach Warren here for DIMAGA. So DIMAGA making a little tech switch here from his air-heavy arsenal. Again, now saturating that 3rd and 4th, getting a nice economy. More and more Phoenix. Actually, no, this is the same number of Phoenixes. So no more Phoenixes coming out right now. We do have an Observer coming out, as well as that Twilight Council level 1 armor upgrade for those ground units. Almost finished, so he will be sitting at 1-1. Have a couple more hallucinated Phoenixes going out at the same time as those real Phoenixes. DIMAGA with the map control over there in the center. And again, looks like some just heavy macro coming from both players. Lots of upgrades. Level 2 missile attack, level 1 air attack coming out. Here go those real Phoenixes in that direction. The fake Phoenixes, the hallucinated Phoenixes, should be somewhere over here. I'm not sure where they are. There it is, actually doing a little bit of fake damage here to that Observer. But here are the real ones in the back of the resource line, killing off some drones. Lots and lots of damage over here by Grubby. Hopefully we see those corruptors plus those mutas try to catch up, but again, the giant discrepancy in speed between those two units pretty much makes it so these Phoenixes can dance around these all day. They just need to make sure they stay out of the range of those corruptors. They're going to have no problem against those mutalists. We do have a Dark Shrine coming out after that Twilight Council completed. Corruptors managing to do a bit of damage here. Dark Shrine plus level 2 weapons upgrade over here for a Grubby for his ground units. And again, constant upgrades, pathogen glands coming out for those infestors. We've got some roach speed coming out as well. There's some more real Phoenixes moving in, and they will be doing some queen hunting. But here come the mutas plus those corruptors trying to snipe out some of those Phoenixes. But again, this Phoenix harass is so frustrating to deal with as a Zerg player. Again, they are just so quick, and you really need those infestors to be able to drop some fungal growths to actually keep them in place and allow your anti-air to catch up to them. Just look at this, using up that energy for those graviton beams, and unfortunately with no spore crawlers, finally dropping some there. But with no spore crawlers, wasn't able to do too much damage, although we got a few of those Phoenixes are pretty low. But again, with proper micro, he's able to just pull them back. Did end up losing one there, but still kind of dancing back and forth. And we're going to have DIMAGA break down these back rocks so that he can defend himself a little bit easier. Still some Speedlings scouting out these back rocks over here. He will likely see when Grubby decides to move into a 4th. And again, we did have some Dark Templar, but are they in play yet? No, they are not. I'm going to keep an eye on that production tab to see when those do get warped in. Charge Zealots coming on through. And wow, there's a lot of Charge Zealots that are going to be thrown at here. And Grubby is making his way across the map with a push. Does he have an Observer with him? Yes, he does, allowing him to take out those creep tumors here. We're going to see some infestors come into play at the same time. We've got a Greater Spire coming out. Still no Dark Templar in play. I hope I didn't miss anything. I don't believe I did. I'm pretty sure none have come into the mix yet, so we're just still waiting on that. On level 3 weapons upgrade, level 1 armor upgrade for the air units as well. Some hallucinated Phoenixes tricking out those corruptors over there. And there we go. Finally, some DT getting warped in, but where is that happening? That is the question right now. Okay, looks like we got 2 right here. Is that it? Yes, so that's just the 2. There's 2 more getting warped in as well. I don't know where those ones are. They were here. Here we go. Okay, so those are just going to be straight up for Archons, actually. So Grubby deciding to use those DT straight for Archons. He's got a couple in the mix there as well, but mostly Archon Heavy is what we're going to be seeing. So Charge Zealot, Archon Heavy, plus Phoenixes. This is a composition that I have seen before in PvZ. We'll have to see how effective it is. A major concern right now, though, is that DIMAGA has had so much time to macro up. But look at that. He has got the adrenal glands coming out for those Zerglings, making them those cracklings. Oh, I love saying that. Just such a cool term. But here comes the Charge Zealot and Archon push right now, moving right on in. Huge fungal growth going down there from those infestors. The Archons doing tremendous amounts of splash damage. We've got some very nice Guardian shields there from those sentries and some nice force field wall, but there are just so many roaches completely overpowering that army. Unfortunately, walking into the spine crawlers plus those heavy roach numbers, he had a hard time dealing with that. So many stalkers getting warped in right now. It does not look like they've got blink research. Hopefully he does get that research. He's going to need that against this composition. He's dealing with such a roach heavy army right now. This is very concerning. However, with some nice force fields, it looks like he will be able to defend himself properly. The DT in the mix there as well. Unfortunately, no cloak detection right now, and some graviton beams against those infestors will allow the stalkers to catch up and take them out. And what an engagement. Let's take a quick look here at the unit loss tab. About even. We do have some attempted zealots coming in, but DIMAGA with so many spine crawlers, that is helping his defense tremendously. We do also have some Broodlords coming into play. A few of those injured Corruptors pulling back, changing themselves into Broodlords. Some DT right now. How many in play? Just these 2. DT will be moving up into the resource line, actually going straight for the main. Let's see if he's going straight for the tech or if he will be trying to do economic damage. Blink Research is finally coming on through, and here we go. He will be going immediately for the Greater Spire. Now Dark Templar actually taking out the Infestation Pit as well, so he's going one at a time. We do have a Transfuse that went down on this. Will DIMAGA be able to save this? That is the question. There it is. The Overseer comes into play, and unfortunately for Grubby, had he target fired one of those buildings down, he would have at least been able to get one, but getting none because he tried to split up that DPS, and that gave enough time to DIMAGA to come out with a few more. There are still just these 2. Again, I just wanted to make sure that that there aren't any more kind of dancing around the map. It's very, very hard sometimes as a caster to catch that DT harass, just being a sole man. I know a lot of professional casts, there are 2 people doing commentaries, and it's probably because it's a lot easier to catch small stuff like that, but DT harass, very difficult to detect when you're just commentating by yourself. But anyways, that's enough talking about that, because he did take out the Greater Spire, and there goes the Infestation Pit. Very hefty loss there for DIMAGA. That's going to cut back tremendously his ability to recreate those units. Obviously, he has to wait until those tech buildings come back into play. We'll be going for that spawning pool. Unfortunately, we'll be losing those DT before he's able to do that. Very interesting there. Grubby does have an opportunity to push on out before we can see any more of those units, but as we can see now, near supply cap DIMAGA with an army supply of 117. He's got a lot of units, and actually, finally, with that Blink Stalker research finished, he's able to do some expansion harass. He'll be chilling out up here for a second. That expansion getting dropped in just a moment. There's a drone that is attempting to do it. He might be able to take out this expansion as well, pulling back to the bulk of his reinforcements. He will be sitting Blink Stalker heavy right now, sitting at 2-3 for upgrades. Still want to check if there's any more DT. No more DT in play right now. His air units over here for DIMAGA. 0-1. Let's check the ground units. We got 1-3. Level 3 range upgrade there. Unfortunately, those Stalkers get mopped up before they could take out that expansion. But at the same time, here comes a push. Blink Stalker heavy plus those Roaches. Now, Blink Stalkers need to be used to take out those Broodlords, but you have to worry about fungal growth there from those Infestors. That is a major concern with that. Do have an Observer over here. Level 3 armor upgrade coming out. That's not that important, though. We got to take a look at this. DIMAGA pushing back Grubby's forces right now. We haven't seen much kind of return harass at all from DIMAGA. He hasn't really done much damage to these expansions. He hasn't done any damage really to these expansions. One Infestor gets dropped there by those Blink Stalkers, and DIMAGA continuing to try to push against this. My concern, though, is that Grubby, being so close to these pylons, will be able to reinforce quite easily. We got a few DT that just got warped in, and they're going to have no problem taking out those Roaches as the Blink Stalkers move forward and try to take out these Broodlords. So let's see that happen. There we go, blinking underneath the Broodlords. This is precisely what they need to do. We got a few back here, and unfortunately not working their way on up like they need to. And then all these Corruptors are going to allow DIMAGA to counter any possible error that Grubby may have to take out these Broodlords, although he doesn't have any at the moment. If we saw any transition into Phoenixes or anything, there we go. Some Blink Stalkers moving right up under those Broodlords and sniping them as they should be. Down to just 2 Broodlords right now. This one's about to get taken out, so is that. Speedlings trying to mop up the Stalkers, but they are a bit too late. All of the Broodlords have got taken out. We have got 30 Speedlings plus 23 Roaches about to come out right now, and that is quite daunting indeed. Grubby in danger of losing all of these forces. Got to change them, just kind of chilling out over here as well. Without enough ground forces, Blink Stalker's able to get right up under those Corruptors and push out. One Observer gets dropped. Overseer gets sniped down as well. DIMAGA forced to pull all the way back, but here are those reinforcements. Lots of Roaches, lots of Speedlings. He should be able to push back these Blink Stalkers right now. We do also have a push of Zealots moving on over. They're going straight for the Expo. They will be dropping that very quickly. Charged Zealots able to catch right up to that hatchery, take it out. Now these Zealots are gone, but at least he took out the hatchery. That is huge for Grubby. Excellent play there. Grubby now sitting at the center of the map. We will be seeing continued macro from both players. I do want to see if those tech buildings were rebuilt or not. There is the Spire. So the Greater Spire getting rebuilt. I'm not sure. Finally getting down the Infestation Pit. Where is that being placed, though? That's the question. Took him really long enough, in all honesty. I'm surprised. I don't know if that was I can't even speak right now. I don't know if that was a mistake there by DIMAGA, if he just, in hindsight, didn't realize that he needed that and he didn't realize they got taken out or what. Or if it was intentional in the fact that he just didn't want to get Infestors for that point in the game. I think he was probably trying to end it with that push that he had with the Broodlords and then following that up with the Speedlings and Roaches. However, Grubby was able to hold out there. Grubby right now on his 5th expansion. We've got a small push coming from him as well, making a transition into some Colossus. 8 Broodlords coming into play, so I'm not too sure how effective Grubby's going to be. Now, he is target firing down these Broodlords as they're attempting to come in, but they are just about to pop down now to just those 4. And Roach is trying to help out as well. The Broodlords get taken out before they can even come into effect. But there are enough forces here for Grubby to actually survive the remainder of the Roaches, and it does look like Grubby will be taking out this high yield expansion. Here comes some more reinforcements as well. Spinecrawl's trying to do what they can, but won't do that well against those Immortals there. DIMAGA calling the GG. There you go, guys. What a game, number 1. All right, guys, game number 1 here between Grubby and DIMAGA going to Grubby. DIMAGA forced to call the GG at this final Blink Stalker, Immortal, and Colossus push. Proved to be way too much for him to handle. He really put a lot into the Broodlord tech, but unfortunately Blink Stalkers were able to snipe those down and pretty much render those ineffective. Anyways, that is game number 1. We will be moving on to game number 2 between Grubby and DIMAGA in just one moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.